Folks, have you ever gotten sick and tired of the same old, same old? Every time you turn around, it's just the big, flashy cities grabbing all the headlines. But what about the underdogs, the unsung heroes of America's heartland and beyond? Well, today we're kicking off a brand new adventure where we shine a spotlight on these hidden gems. It's time to uncover the underrated, the overlooked, and yes, the second and third best places that might just steal your heart. Ready to dive in? Let's get this show on the road. Today we're starting with Reno, Nevada. Now listen, they don't call it the biggest little city in the world for nothing. This city punches way above its weight class when it comes to attractions and activities. It's like the heavyweight champ of mid-sized cities. If you're one of those folks fleeing Southern California or looking for a break from the monotony of Arizona, New Mexico, or Texas, hoping to find a place where seasons aren't just something you see on TV, then Reno's your jackpot. Imagine this, shoveling snow in the morning, soaking up desert heat by noon, and maybe even wrestling with a surprise dust storm by dinner. It's not just living. It's living on the edge of Mother Nature's mood swings. It builds character, just like my old drill sergeant used to say. Now let's talk turkey about the real estate scene. The word affordable might not be the first that comes to mind when you think of Reno, but with a little bit of luck and some savvy searching, you can still find a sweet spot where your dollars stretch further. The housing market's heating up, sure, but that's just proof of how many people are catching on to what's great about the Sierra Nevada region. It's like the silver medal to the Rockies' gold, perfect for those who think Colorado's become a tad too trendy. And hey, Lake Tahoe's just a stone's throw away. Okay, so maybe you need to be raking in the big bucks to live lakeside, but it's a heck of a day trip. And Reno itself? It's a hub of non-stop action. Casinos, concerts, nightlife, and the great outdoors are just the start. Imagine stepping off a plane and being greeted by the cheerful ding of slot machines. That's Reno for you. Living here means you're never bored. And if by some small chance you do find yourself with nothing to do, just remember, Las Vegas is a mere 7-hour drive south. That's right, folks. Reno is like the runner-up to Vegas, but with a charm all its own. And don't get me started on the other cities. Sacramento? Just a skip away over the mountains. But when you talk Nevada, it's always Vegas this, Vegas that. Well, I'm telling you, Reno is a contender. It's got heart, it's got soul, and it's got a home market where $551,000 might sound steep, but you're buying more than just bricks and mortar. You're buying a lifestyle. Well, folks, let's mosey on over to Davenport, Iowa. Picture this, the heart of the Midwest right alongside the Grand Mississippi River. Now, some might dismiss it as just another flyover town, but let me tell you, they're missing out on a hidden gem where the cost of living isn't just low, it's a downright steal. Think about this. Charming Victorian homes, cozy bungalows, and those sprawling ranch-style houses, all beckoning with price tags that won't make your wallet cry for mercy. It's like the city council's running a charity here, folks. And the Mississippi River? It's right there. You could practically fish from your backyard. Sure, you might say you'll take up kayaking or fishing, but let's be honest, you'll probably enjoy just as many quiet evenings at home. But that option's there, making Davenport a place where life's simple pleasures are just a stone's throw away. The downtown area is bustling with breweries, eateries, and shops that keep things interesting without breaking the bank. This city combines a vibrant cultural scene with all the unpretentious charm of the Midwest. Here, you don't just meet neighbors, you make friends. People in Davenport are the real deal. Friendly, genuine, and none of that big city pretense. You might have to adjust to being a bit more social, waving back about 50 times a day, but hey, that's a small price for community spirit, right? Moving on, let's hit up Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Folks, this city's like those sneaker waves at the beach. Quiet, unassuming, then bam. It catches you by surprise with its charm and potential. Pittsburgh, with its iconic bridges and storied steel history, might just be the dark horse ready to race into the limelight. It's the kind of city that celebrates its quirks, like those sandwiches stuffed with coleslaw and fries. I mean, where else, right? But it's not just about quirky eats. The cost of living here is a breath of fresh air compared to the coasts. Forget about needing a fortune to buy a decent home. Here you can get a 3-bedroom house with a yard for what you'd pay for a cramped studio in San Francisco. Neighborhoods are springing up everywhere, each with its own little perks, from local breweries to, yes, maybe a family of raccoons. It's got character in spades. Now the weather might test you. Pittsburgh can give Seattle a run for its money with those gray skies. But once you hit that week of spring sunshine, the city shines like a diamond in the rough. And let's talk sports. Steeler Nation is alive and kicking here, and it's intense. If you're not a sports fan, it might get under your skin. But for others, it's part of the city's beating heart. Despite being overshadowed by neighbors like Cleveland and Philadelphia, Pittsburgh holds its own, often outshining them both in charm and livability. Let's chat about Madison, Wisconsin, land of the lakes, cheese curds, and those never-ending winters. If you like your guests overstaying their welcome, you'll feel right at home with Madison's winters. But let's be real, the chill and the snow. It's not just weather, it's a way of life that builds grit and character. Now in Madison, you're going to work that snow shovel more than your bike. But hey, it's not all about shoveling snow. This town's got a commitment to outdoor fun that's unmatched. Think about it. Skiing to work isn't just a quirky idea here. It's practically on the job description. And when it comes to finding a place to call home, Madison's housing market won't make you wish you'd kept those family heirlooms to sell off. You can get a solid, cozy Midwestern home here, the kind with enough yard space to justify one of those riding lawnmowers. And who doesn't secretly want one of those? They're a bit slow but scream Americana. Sure, Wisconsin's property taxes might take a bite, but those funds make sure you're driving on salted roads, and they keep the community's heart beating strong. And if you're looking for a place without the headaches of a megacity, Madison's vibrant community driven by its university scene means there's always something brewing. Farmers markets, cultural events, and yes, those classic Friday night fish fries. The view? Gorgeous lakes that'll steal your breath away. Sandwiched between Minneapolis and Milwaukee, and even outshined by Green Bay in terms of popularity, Madison holds its own with a quiet dignity. It's got a charm that outshines its bigger neighbors, and with an average home value of $391,000, it's got the stats to back up its appeal. Shifting gears, let's mosey on down to Hickory, North Carolina. Here in Hickory, the pace of life matches the leisurely drawl of the local accent. It's the kind of town where the biggest rush hour involves a parade of tractors, and the local BBQ is a slice of heaven. Forget traffic jams and city noise. Here, it's about the hush puppies, sweet tea, and that hometown feel with every meal. Looking to buy a home? In Hickory, you can actually afford to dream big. Space for a garden, a barbecue big enough to make the whole block jealous, and maybe even a porch that becomes the front row seat to the best local gossip. Because here, community isn't just a word, it's a way of life. You'll find that everyone knows your name, and a simple trip to the Cracker Barrel can turn into a social event. But Hickory isn't without its challenges. It tends to fly under the radar compared to Raleigh, Charlotte, or even Asheville. And while it's got a bit of a crime issue, it's nothing that overshadows the town's charm. With homes averaging around $285,000, it's a place where you can plant roots without breaking the bank. ChatGPT had that over ChatGPT. Folks, if you've got a hankering for a spot where Southern hospitality meets a modern suburban vibe, let me tell you about Greensboro, North Carolina. This place could be your slice of heaven right here on Earth. Picture this. You stroll through a grocery store and actual living, breathing people smile at you. Imagine that. Greensboro's packed with enough greenery to make you forget you're in a city at all, and its historic downtown is a treasure trove of cozy coffee spots and quirky shops that'll charm your socks off. And let's talk about the local cuisine. Nothing welcomes you to the South quite like the delicious threat of fried chicken and biscuits clogging your arteries in the most delightful way possible. Now, when it comes to setting down roots, Greensboro's real estate market is practically throwing houses at you. Why? Because it's a steal compared to the high-flying prices in places like Charlotte or Raleigh. Greensboro doesn't just want you, it needs you. Houses here go for prices that make every day feel like Black Friday. You'll find charming brick homes, sprawling modern developments, and trees thick enough to offer a solid game of hide-and-seek from your neighbors, if that's more your speed. And with property taxes that won't send you running for the hills, you might even manage to furnish your new digs with something nice, like a love seat, Because everyone needs a spot to cuddle up, right? Living in Greensboro means enjoying the best of both worlds. It's close enough to the big city hustle when you need it, yet far enough to maintain your peace and quiet. The city boasts lush parks, vibrant breweries, and a nightlife scene that confirms you're definitely not in a sleepy town. While it might live in the shadows of Charlotte and Raleigh, Greensboro holds its own with an average home value of around $256,000, offering a pretty sweet deal for a pretty sweet lifestyle. Switching gears, let's cruise over to Virginia Beach, Virginia. Ever dreamed of living where the beach is just a flip-flop away? Virginia Beach is the place where you'll find sand in places you never knew existed, and it's part of the daily grind. Welcome to beach living at its finest. This isn't your over-the-top tourist trap. It's an affordable, genuinely pleasant beach town. It might not be Honolulu, but let me tell you, it's a gem in its own right. You can enjoy beach walks most of the year, not just in the fleeting summer months. The housing market here is as steady as the tides. Home values aren't skyrocketing, but they aren't plummeting either. They're holding their ground, making it a stable place to invest in beachside living. The social scene strikes a perfect balance, offering small-town charm with big city amenities, minus the dreadful traffic you'd find in D.C. Whether it's festivals, craft breweries, seafood delights, or beach concerts, Virginia Beach serves up a vibrant community vibe that's hard to beat. With an average home value around $400,000, Virginia Beach stands out as an exceptional choice for anyone looking to live the beach life without breaking the bank. It might play second fiddle to Norfolk and Richmond, but for those in the know, it's first in heart and home. What do you think? Folks, let's talk Huntsville, Alabama, nicknamed the Rocket City for good reason. Imagine living next door to a rocket scientist and not having to pay an arm and a leg in property taxes. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, Huntsville is where you can find quality housing that won't require you to break the bank. But it's not just about affordable living. It's about a lifestyle that's literally out of this world. In Huntsville, entertainment might include watching a rocket shoot into the sky, or settling the age-old debate of which local BBQ joint reigns supreme. Spoiler, it's always a draw. And if you enjoy a good brew, you'll appreciate the surprising number of breweries around. It's a place where Southern hospitality meets scientific innovation, making every weekend feel like a festive community gathering. Sure, it's no New York City when it comes to nightlife, but there's plenty to keep you busy, whether you prefer the great outdoors or a challenging round of pub trivia about space missions. The job market here is stellar too, and not just for rocket scientists. There's a booming tech, engineering, and aerospace scene, making Huntsville a hub for anyone looking to launch a career in high-tech industries. It's the kind of place where you might find yourself bragging at parties that you're practically a rocket scientist, even if you're not. Although overshadowed by Atlanta and even Birmingham, Huntsville offers a unique blend of safety, innovation, and community spirit, all with an average home value of about $275,000. Now, let's shift over to Post Falls, Idaho, a hidden gem if there ever was one. If you're all about that quiet life, where the biggest excitement is a sunset over the river, then Post Falls could be calling your name. It's a place where silence and nature replace bustling city noises, where you can trade in traffic for the call of the wild, maybe even spot a moose if you're lucky. The real estate perks here include peace, quiet, and plenty of space, with property values that allow you to enjoy your own slice of paradise, without the sticker shock common in bigger West Coast cities. Here's a fun fact. A few years back, someone from Post Falls tried to tell me I needed city approval to talk about their town in a video. Can you believe that? But despite that little hiccup, living in Post Falls means embracing a life less complicated, surrounded by nature's bounty, perfect for anyone into hiking, fishing, or simply enjoying the great outdoors. It's often overshadowed by Coeur d'Alene or even Spokane, but with an average home value of $494,000, Post Falls offers a tranquil lifestyle at a fraction of the cost of its more famous neighbors. And finally, the top spot goes to Fort Collins, Colorado. Nestled in the foothills of the Rockies, Fort Collins isn't just a place, it's a lifestyle. Here, outdoor activities aren't just hobbies, they're essential to the local way of life. You'll probably need an SUV and a wardrobe upgrade just to blend in, The views are breathtaking, and while the real estate isn't cheap, it's reasonable compared to places like Denver or Boulder. Fort Collins is a brew lover's paradise, with more craft breweries than you can shake a stick at. Here, ordering a plain old beer might just get you a lecture on the virtues of craft IPAs. It's a community that values the environment, education, and a good debate, thanks to the presence of Colorado State University. It's a town with a mix of students, retirees, and gap-year adventurers, all coming together to create a vibrant, if occasionally contentious, community tapestry. Despite being overshadowed by its larger Colorado cousins, Fort Collins holds its own with an average home value of $554,000, a fair price for a high-quality lifestyle. If you're considering a move or just dreaming of a new home, check out the link in the description to connect with a real estate agent and explore more about these cities. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, be kind to each other and enjoy the journey wherever it may take you.